Father, for such a community in which we can come together to do the will and the work that you have assigned for us to do. We ask that you just bless each, the judge and each commissioners, bless their homes and bless the communities and the precincts in which they serve. Now, Father, we just, again, thank you for whatever will transpire here today, and let it be for the betterment of the community, and not only the community, for the state and even for the world. We know that you are able to do it. So, Father, we thank you. Let everything be done decent and in order, and we give your name praise, honor, and glory in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Please join me in the pledge of allegiance to the flag of our great country.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now the Texas flag.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, Pastor.
Thank you.
Item number 3, discuss and possibly act upon the approval of a proclamation proclaiming October 2023 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month in Washington County. Our proclamation. Know all men by these presents that the Commissioners Court of Washington County, Texas met in session on this third day of October 2023 at its regular meeting place in the county courtroom in Brenham, Texas, with the following members of the court present: John Dernberger, County Judge; Don Kester, Commissioner Precinct 1; Candace Bullock, Commissioner Precinct 2; Kirk Hanneth, Commissioner Precinct 3; Dustin Majewski, Commissioner Precinct 4. And the court being duly opened, the following proclamation was issued. Our efforts to help victims of domestic violence will always be one of our most important tasks. Through teamwork and cooperation, we will continue to provide needed services to our victims and survivors of domestic violence. Domestic violence is a crime that affects all aspects of community with far-reaching consequences for the primary victims, women and children, and domestic violence is particularly devastating because it so often occurs in the privacy of the home, which is meant to be a place of shelter and security. Thousands of women and children in Texas are victims of domestic violence offenses which violate their basic human rights to live with respect, dignity, and freedom from fear and violence. We are committed to ending domestic violence in our state through public education and services by helping victims find empowerment to help them succeed in their goals. We are committed to moving forward with all citizens, government officials, law enforcement agencies, health professionals, social service providers, educators, clergy, and community leaders to end domestic violence that threatens so many. Now, therefore, we, the County Judge and Commissioners Court of Washington County, in recognition of the important work done by domestic violence awareness programs, do hereby proclaim the month of October as Domestic Violence Awareness Month and urge all citizens to become aware of the tragedy of domestic violence and become actively involved in working together to eliminate domestic abuse. Okay, I would entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the proclamation proclaiming October 2023 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month in Washington County, Texas.
I second that motion.
Motion been made and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
So would any of you like to
To
speak?
speak.
Just a minute.
Please.
Just a minute. Okay. Ms. Martinez?
Thank you. Good morning, Washington County. Thank you for your support and the opportunity to be here today. Did you know that 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men experience domestic violence in their lifetime? Did you know that everyone knows someone who has been impacted by domestic violence? Did you know in October 1987, the first Domestic Violence Awareness Month was observed? Did you know in 1989, Congress passed public law designating October as National Domestic Awareness Month? Did you know last year in 2022, our agency alone served 678 victims of domestic violence? Hi, my name is Hilda Martinez. I'm nervous just a little bit. And I am with Focusing Families, where we serve Washington County. We serve 5 counties total. And every October, organizations like Focusing Families around the country promote National Domestic Violence Awareness Month to bring attention to life-saving resources for people who have experienced physical violence, emotional abuse, financial abuse, or sexual abuse by family members or intimate partners. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Any comments?
Ms. Martinez, I'm going to tell you right now, I will never understand the turn to violence from someone in your own home. It's like attacking yourself. And you guys come every year, and every year I'm just perplexed by the numbers that you provide to us and do not understand it. We also have the Think Pink folks here today, and that's an attack that you don't know is coming after you unless you've done the appropriate screening, correct? So, and it's ironic to us that it's also National Night Out today. And we honor those in the law enforcement that have to go to these domestic violence situations and have to deal with someone who has just literally almost lost their mind, because I believe that's what it has to be, because I cannot for the life of me wrap my head around I mean, I'm married, and my wife, I would never want to strike her. Now, I will tell you, we disagree. But there is nothing in this soul that wants to do harm to her. So thank you so much for what you do, because these people, at some point, I had a high school classmate that went through it. And one of the things that she told me was, she said, I felt kind of trapped, you know? And I think that's where we need to educate more, to say, look, there are places for you to go. And she sought that and got out. And so it's just a neat thing to hear the success. A lot of times we hear the negative, we don't hear the positive, right? So it's great to hear, and it's great to know that there's an organization like you guys helping these people get out. So thank you so much for what you do.
I just want to thank you too for what you do. I know I've seen a lot of that stuff around. Very not pleasant to see, and I'm telling you, I hope it never happens here close, but I'm sure it has. But again, I thank y'all for what all y'all do to help these people. They very well need your help. Thank you very much.
I just kind of wanted to comment. I think it was very important when you got up to the podium, because I didn't hear it in the proclamation, but that you made a distinction that there are still 1 in 4 men that also experience the same thing. And you know, in our country and in our world, as we continue to see the data supporting that mental health is on the decline, organizations like and women and men and volunteers like yourselves are becoming more important every day, because as these other court members mentioned, you know, being able to have that support and being able to have that resource and that toolkit, if you will, you know, sometimes they do feel trapped and they don't know how to get out of their situation, perhaps because, you know, it presents an economic disadvantage, or perhaps they feel like they're staying in the relationship because they're not sure how to support a child on their own or whatever. And so I just want to commend y'all's diligence in bringing this back to the forefront every year. It's absolutely important. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for what y'all do.
Yes, thank you for being here each year, taking time to come visit with us like this and remind the community how important the work that you're doing is. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Picture.
Okay, photo.
I don't have anything purple, by the way, just so you know. No, I couldn't. You can cover me up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 4, discuss and possibly act upon the approval of a proclamation proclaiming October 26, 2023 as Paint the Town Pink in Washington County, Texas. Whereas 1 in 8 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer in their lifetime, and 43,700 will lose their life to breast cancer this year. I want to repeat that. That seems incredible. 43,700 will lose their life to breast cancer this year. And breast cancer is the second most commonly diagnosed form of cancer for women in the United States and remains the second leading cause of cancer death among American women. In I'll say it in a minute. Mammography, an X-ray of the breast is recognized as the single most effective method of detecting breast changes long before physical symptoms can be seen or felt. Early detection and improved treatment is believed to have significantly reduced the number of deaths caused by breast cancer. And researchers, scientists, and numerous nonprofit organizations are dedicated to discovering the cure for breast cancer. During the month of October, we acknowledge the extraordinary commitment and effort invested in this cause. And we recognize that over 2.5 million Americans are breast cancer survivors. That gives us hope for a better future. Whereas Baylor Scott and White, the Brenham Clinic, calls upon all citizens to observe this day by wearing the color pink, along with participating in appropriate programs, activities, and ceremonies. Now therefore, the Commissioners Court of Washington County, Texas, does hereby proclaim Thursday, October 26, 2023 as Paint the Town Pink. Melissa?
Thank you, Judge, for allowing us to be here once again. We are really excited to say that this is our 20th year to, excuse me, I'm a little raspy. These allergies are really getting me. But this is our 20th year to Paint the Town Pink. And it's also the 20th year of our Hascarl Giddings Imaging Center, where we have provided our mammography services. So we started this 20 years ago with the vision and goal of education, awareness, early detection, and treatment. And I'm excited to share information about how that has progressed over the last 20 years. 20 years ago, it wasn't comfortable to talk about breast cancer or breast health or breast cancer in men. All of those things. It was sort of taboo. It wasn't comfortable. We have changed that. Nationally, that has changed. But we here locally have changed that as well. Because of the partnerships that we have formed, we have a wonderful group of survivors with us here today, Bosom Buddies. They've been with us all 20 years. There are other survivor groups. City, county, businesses, the community, we have partnered to ensure that the education, the awareness, the information about early detection reached everyone. So I'm excited to celebrate 20 years of Paint the Town Pink. It is our goal to continue doing this. The celebrations, the things that we do in October may change, but the last Thursday in October should always be Paint the Town Pink for this community. So we hope that that tradition continues. We do have some things coming up. Today we have Walk with the Doc, which is actually every month, the first Tuesday at noon every month. And Lisa Hibbler, who is our supervisor of imaging services here at Baylor Scott & White, along with Dr. McIntyre, who's our radiologist, they're leading Walk with the Doc today at noon to discuss breast health and early detection. So if you have some time, head over to the Cruzy Center at Blen, listen to them for a few minutes, and then go on a healthy walk. That's always fun. Thursday, October 26th is Paint the Town Pink, and at 4:30 at Brenham Clinic at the Imaging Center, we'll be having a ribbon cutting celebrating the 20th anniversary. So have some snacks and refreshments. Hope you join us for that. Dr. Fleener, who is an oncologist out of Bryan College Station. She will be here this Thursday. What time? 6:30 to 8 at the library for an educational program. It is open to the public. We hope that you join us there as well. So lots of great opportunities to learn and participate in breast cancer awareness this month. So again, I do want to thank you guys because you have been tremendous supporters in allowing us to help educate and inform our community. I do want Lisa Hibler, our imaging supervisor, to just share a few words about what we offer and breast health. Lisa.
Good morning.
Good morning.
In the words that Mr. Dernberger said, yes, the second leading cause of death in women is breast cancer. But if you got a little further into the proclamation, I think the point that really sticks out is how many breast cancer survivors there are. That number far exceeds the amount of women and men who have succumbed to this awful disease. And a lot of that is because of the new technologies that are out there. I've been in this field for 30 plus years, and the changes in breast health are tremendous. Baylor Scott and White Brenham Clinic, we have the latest and greatest 3D mammography. It is a wonderful system. People ask me, well, what is the difference between a 2D and a 3D? And in just terms that everybody can kind of understand, if you take a little loaf of bread, turn it sideways, put a pea in the middle. You take a picture, you might not see that pea, but if you take slice and slice away, you will get to that pea and you will have a clear picture of what's going on inside that anatomy. And that's what the 3D tomography is. You are able to slice through millimeters of tissue and get that early detection that everybody should really pay attention to.
Awesome.
Self-breast exam is still on the top of the list. Don't let that pass by, ladies. But if you find something, say something, go to your provider, get that mammogram done, because the technology is there, the resources are there, and you want to be that survivor. You want to be in the larger number that Mr. Dernberger said. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I just want to say that I was a young man, I don't know what grade it was anymore, but in the early 60s. My grandmother, they lived in Houston, got breast cancer, and she died at 49 years old. And nothing they could do back in those days. And we was at their house, a very small house, a bunch of people, a bunch of their family were there, and there's the old pickup truck, and me and my cousin slept on the back of that truck and had to listen to her scream all night long. It was terrible. And finally, they taken her back to the hospital, and she finally passed away. But a very sad thing to see. I'm so happy that you have the technology today that we have to be able to detect this so soon and be able to do something about it. And I do appreciate what y'all do here. Thank you very much.
As the commissioner said, we're all very grateful and thankful to the bosom buddies, all of the volunteers, everyone with Baylor Scott and White that continues to support the women in our community that are struggling with this disease. So thank you for bringing it back to the forefront every year. It's absolutely important that we continue to let people know that not only that y'all provide these services, but that the technology and the detection is top notch. So, thank you.
Well, thank you for 20 years. That's almost nothing goes on for 20 years, it seems like. But the educational function that you're performing, the educating of the public that you give, the technology is great and wonderful, but you got to get somebody to accept that and come do it, So, but the education is a key piece to this, and of course the technology and the data really plays into it well. Anyway, thank y'all so much for what you do.
Well, I appreciate you focusing on the positive. And nothing's more proof positive that there are more survivors than the amount of ladies that are here today for the Bosom Buddies. Thank you so much for showing up. Thank you so much for continuing the cause after you fought the fight and won the war. So thank you so much for doing that. Thank you for being the voice for others who may be going through it now. So thank you so much, and thank you to Baylor Scott and White for that imaging, because without that, we probably would not be having these kinds of conversation and these success stories here today. So thank you so much.
And I'd like to thank you guys just for the fact that I know the advancements in technology have, and medicine have really helped. But I think what your organization does is gets the word out to the people to understand that I think in the past and other situations, people are embarrassed about something and they're afraid to go out. But with your guys' voices and bringing it to the forefront, people say, hey, I'm not the only one. And they're willing to go to the doctor to get the mammogram, to do when they find something, to make sure they're not alone. And so I appreciate that.
I make a motion to approve the proclamation proclaiming October 26, 2023 as Paint the Town Pink in Washington County, Texas.
I'll second that motion.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Please come forward, please.
But we have goodies to pass out. Oh. Can't leave without passing out goodies.
Are these the magnet ones? Oh yeah, I gotta take two. I feel like everything. Take two. Every time I turn around, these things off my fridge are missing.
I wonder how that happens.
When you go to those conferences, you can feel your sight.
Okay.
Miss Shirley, you must have known this was happening today. You wore the appropriate dress.
Oh, it was a happy accident.
God knew that, that's why he let you put that dress on.
Yeah.
There you go.
I totally forgot.
Okay. Okay, item number 5, discuss and possibly act upon the approval of pending Washington County Expo rental regulations contracts. So we have 2 of those this morning. One's a cattle show and the other is a drive-through fundraiser, barbecue fundraiser.
I move upon the approval of pending Washington County Expo rental regulation contracts and authorize the county judge to sign.
I'll second.
Motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item number 6, discuss and possibly act upon the approval of extension of time used vacation hours for Expo Director. Mr. Williams has accumulated 64 hours that he'd like to carry over. I don't know why you haven't been taking vacation the last month or so.
Well, why?
What were you doing?
I'll take September off.
That wouldn't work too good.
Okay. All right, is there a motion?
Go ahead.
I make a motion to extend the time to use vacation hours for the Expo Director.
I'll second.
Motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item number 7, discuss and possibly act upon the approval of an interlocal agreement for a managing entity by the Brazos Valley Council of Governments for the Brazos Valley area-wide communication system. Ms. Hood?
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners.
Morning.
This is merely an extension to a pre-existing interlocal that we have. It allows them to manage the radio network that we use, so it's nothing really changed.
Just the BB wire.
Right, just extension of what we've been doing.
I'll make a motion to approve the interlocal agreement managing entity by the Brazos Valley Council of Governments for the Brazos Valley area-wide communication system.
I'll second that motion.
Motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item number 8, discuss and possibly act upon the approval of the third restatement of the interlocal agreement for the construction, acquisition, implementation, operation, and maintenance of the Brazos Valley-wide area communication system.
Very similar to the previous one that we just mentioned. This has to do with the actual network, the construction of the system, as opposed to the management of it.
Right,
Right.
exactly.
And it's way more complex because the document was way longer.
Yes, sir, it is.
Lot more to read.
And you have to learn to speak radio.
Yes, you do.
BV waxes, you can do that better.
Thank God
Yes,
this
sir.
is every 7 years.
Right. Okay.
I make a motion to approve the third restatement of the interlocal agreement for the construction, acquisition, implementation, operation, and maintenance of the Brazos Valley area-wide communication system.
I'll second.
Motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you so much, I appreciate
Thank you.
it.
Thank you.
Item number 9, discuss and possibly act upon the approval of a resolution for the 2023 Washington County Indigent Defense Grant Program. The resolution is whereas under provisions of the Texas Government Code 79.037 and Texas Administrative Code 173, counties are eligible to receive grants from the Texas Indigent Defense Commission to provide improvement to indigent defense services in the county. I'm not going to read the whole rest, this whereas and so forth.
Right.
Anybody have any discussion about this one?
No.
Is there a motion?
I make a motion to approve the resolution for the 2023 Washington County Indigent Defense Grant Program.
I second that motion.
Motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item number 10, presentation of the Office of Emergency Management Quarterly Report. Mr. Remke?
Morning, Judge Commissioners. You should have a copy of the report. Just want to go over a couple things on the reimbursement side. So COVID, I think we're finally done and got what we're going to get from the public assistance side of that.
Okay.
So that's like with any disaster, if the president declares the disaster, we can get FEMA funds to reimburse what we spent out. So the total amount I came up with was about $628,000 that we got back reimbursed. There's other money that was with COVID, CARES money, CRF money that we got as well, but that's not public assistance. The Winter Storm Uri, pretty much done with that. We got about $31,000 out of that. That was mostly salaries and stuff for when we had the emergency protective measures, Category B. As far as Category C, which is roads, we didn't get anything. They denied those, as I spoke of before, because we didn't have enough documentation and proof that that damage came from the actual storm. Texas Task Force reimbursement, we got a bunch of that money in, and I'm currently working on one that's due this week that I'll have turned in probably tomorrow. Homeland Security grants, we got awarded some of those in 2022. That's about $95,000 between the message boards and barriers, EMS tactical gear, those things. So that's all done, should be all wrapped up, and we got all those payments in. The hazard mitigation grants for the generators, it's been a year, and we still haven't heard anything. I keep checking on it, send them an email, it's like it's in a good place. We haven't heard anything, you should get something pretty soon, but that pretty soon hasn't happened yet. So they want us to apply for these grants, but it takes forever to get some of them. So anyway, other than that, what I'm currently working on is hazard mitigation plan. So that's due every 5 years, or comes up for renewal, updating every 5 years. It expires in April of 2024, but we're starting on it now. The plan is to hopefully get all the stuff done and updated by the end of the year, because it usually takes 3 or 4 months for them to go over it and make sure it's right before we can actually adopt it. Other things I'm going to be working on are updating the emergency operation plan annexes over the next 6 months. The ones we have, there's about 10 of them that expire in September of 2024. So other than that, if you have any questions, I'll try to answer them.
No, I do want to thank you for your diligence, with these grants. I know they can be cumbersome. And, you know, just this right now, from what you've said, is over, you know, is about $750,000. And I know that you work through a lot of the other ones, so I want to thank you to that, because that's really important for the taxpayer, so that we can, you know, find other means to support certain
Yes,
things
ma'am.
within the organization. So thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Any other comments?
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Item number 11, discuss and possibly act upon approval of increasing juror pay from $6 to $20 per day for the first day of jury service, and from $40 to $58 for each subsequent day of service for each jury called, per House Bill 3474, 88th Legislative Session, which amends Texas Government Code 61.001. Ms. Bronner? She was back there, wasn't she? Oh, there she is, sorry. So sorry, Tammy, I did not see you behind Mr.
I'm just gonna stand right here and
That's
speak.
fine, absolutely.
Beth is the one who had this put on the agenda again for today. And, what has happened, come, September 1st, it went into effect that we had to raise our pay for our jury service. Our jurors were getting, when they appeared the first day for jury service, they were getting $6 a day. And then, for that one day, and then if they got chosen, then they get paid $40 for each day that they come for jury service. And now the state has gone back and they have bumped the first day appearance to $20. And then if you get selected to be on the jury, then when you come back for each day of your service, it's on up to $58 now. And we wanted to put that, it didn't have to be on the Commissioners Court agenda, because this is something that the state
Mandates.
enforced with us
Right.
with our fees. But we just wanted to kind of keep in
Another
track with that,
unfunded
because
mandate.
it's been that $6 and $40 for a long time.
Well, I want to
We
point
get
out,
heckled a little bit about that $6.
I bet you
We
do.
have to let
I'd
people
like to
know that.
comment on it too. It says not less
I
than
just
20,
wanna
not
point
less
that.
than 58. So it is a variable amount. So when you read it with the new verbiage within the scope of the statute, it does say the county shall determine the amount. So, and I ran this by Ms. Murphy, and she said, yes, it's a better practice to put that on there.
Right,
Right.
because you could do more
Right.
than the minimum, they set the floor.
It's
So
not
you
less
could,
than.
it's not less than, so
Right, it
you've
could-
gotta set the ceiling or what the rate is
Mhm.
per the
So-
statute, so that's why we recommended placing it
That's-
on.
Good
And
point.
that's a change to the statute, because before it was the actual 6.
Yeah.
Yes,
And the
and so
40.
that's why we,
And the reason they're doing that is because they want the pressure off of them.
Mhm.
They want us to raise that rate so that they can say they're raising the taxes. So let's just be honest about what it is, and I'm glad that we
It's
bring
an
it to court so
unfunded
that
mandate.
everyone understands what we
Exactly.
do. There are no secrets here, and this is what it is. So we today are approving the floor level of this, and we'll see how things go. I appreciate you guys bringing this to our attention.
Exactly right.
Thank you very much. Transparency is the best thing we can do.
I make a motion to approve increasing the juror pay from $6 to $20 per day for the first day of jury service, and from $40 to $58 for each subsequent day of service for each juror called, per House Bill 3474, 88th Legislative Session, which amends Texas Local Government Code 61001.
I'll second.
Motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion?
Sure, Josh.
What funds do typically a juror pay come out of? Like, how are jurors typically paid?
Taxpayer,
It's
you
not a
mean?
general fund.
General fund?
Yeah, the general fund.
Right.
We have a line for jury.
It's a line item.
Yeah, it's a line item.
It's a line item in our budget, Josh, if that's what you're asking, but if you're
Yeah.
asking the overall scope, it's taxpayer.
And also, when we collect court costs, there is a jury fee, and so that goes into a jury fund. And so those monies are used for, the expenses of the jurors, like when we have to send out jury cards, jury summons, any kind of expenditures for the jurors, we use it out of that jury fund, and that's money that's been collected through court costs.
Thank you for that clarification,
Yes,
Tammy.
thank you.
Yes, thank you.
We did not vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Item number 12, discuss and possibly act upon nomination and election of Washington County Appraisal District Board members. A list of current members of the Appraisal District Board available at the County Judge's Office. Those existing members the current members are John Shear, Charles Gascamp, Douglas Bohart, Leslie Baineman Jr., and Joe Antokoviak. Are there any other nominations?
I don't have any.
I don't have one.
Okay, so we need a motion to nominate these gentlemen to the board.
I make a motion to nominate the election of Washington County Appraisal District Board members from the list presented from the County Judge's Office of the Appraisal District Board members.
I second that motion.
Motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item number 13, discuss a formal notice for water service installation by PGMS across the Rayburg right-of-way, Precinct 3.
Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
So this first item is just a notice that there's going to be a water service crossing Rayburg Road at 3513 Rayburg. We've worked with them on installing this at the property line for 3603 Rayburg. 3603 does actually have a water service connection as in place today. However, there's only one development on that piece of property with 8.5 acres. In the future, if it does end up subdividing, then there will be available water service that can tie off of this particular meter. So just want to give you a heads up on that.
Okay. All right. Item number 14, discuss and possibly act upon a subdivision variance request for a land division fronting Copeland Springs Road in the Edmund Miller Survey A-84 Precinct 1.
Yes, this is a parent tract of 46.83 acres. The landowner is requesting a variance from the platting regulations to break a 3.1 acre tract off. There's existing RV and mobile home on the piece of property. We verified that the existing infrastructure regarding the septic facility does meet the existing setback requirements of the county, and we see no issue with the proposed break off of this 3.1 acres.
I move upon a subdivision variance request for a land division fronting Copeland Springs Road in Edmund Miller Survey A-84 in Precinct 1.
I'll second that.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item number 15, discuss and possibly act upon a subdivision variance request for land division fronting Jackson League Circle in the Isaac Jackson Survey A-66 Precinct 1.
Yes, this piece of property is actually a 10-acre tract. The proposal for the landowner is actually to split this into two 5-acre tracts for sale. The proposed dimensions of the two 5-acre tracts do meet county regulations for dimensions and frontage requirements, and we see no issues with the proposed variance.
Okay,
Okay. And
motion?
there was something, this is,
I'm involved in that, so I have to abstain.
You'll have to abstain. That's
okay.
right.
I make a motion to approve the variance request for the land division fronting Jackson League Circle in the Isaac Jackson Survey A-66 Precinct 1.
I'll second.
Motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Motion carries. Item number 16, discuss and possibly act upon a subdivision variance request amendment for land division fronting Offleck Road in the Horatio Crispin Survey A-24 Precinct 3.
This was a variance that was approved in August 22nd. The landowner has reached out to us and stated they would like to make a change to that particular variance approval. I have verified that the particular piece of property has not been broken up since that approval has gone forward, so this would be an amendment to the original variance request that was approved in August. The only change that we're looking at here is from the parent tract. The southern two portions, or southern two tracts would have been 12.5 acres and 7.5 from the initial approval. The change would actually take that from 11 to 9. I kind of requested, say, is there any chance we can make it 10 and we could just follow Texas exemptions on this? But he really wanted it to be 9. Really, this is, in my opinion, a pretty straightforward change and amendment to it. But at the same time, it's significant enough that I do believe it warrants approval from the court.
Yeah, if it had been 10, you'd gotten into that pond, wouldn't you? Yeah, you'd have.
Right.
Okay.
I make a motion to approve the subdivision variance request amendment for our land division fronting Aflac Road in the Horatio Chrisman Survey, A24, Precinct 3.
I'll second.
Motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Item number 17, discuss and possibly act upon approval of accounts payable.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This morning, we have $370,619.03 for the week to pay. Of that, there's several different attorneys that we've paid again. We're doing the Beth's thing for her, restoring her files. It's $108,000 of this money, and then there's some radios at the sheriff's office for like $46,000 that they're needing and getting.
Right, and I just wanted to make mention, the largest expenditure in this is $108,433 to co-file. But it is coming from the archive fee and the county clerk, which is
Yes.
non-taxpayer dollars. So, Ms. Beth, I wanted to give you credit for that. That's very important. And if you would just real quickly like to fill people, anybody in the audience about what that is.
We charge an archive fee and a records management fee. The archive fee is very particular in what we can spend it on, and it's just preservation. And so we have elected to do old birth records, old birth certificates. So they're now into books and out of drawers where they're just were kind of hodgepodge and been repaired. Any tears, they repair that, they deacidify everything, and it's all not with taxpayer dollars, but with this fund that we are allotted by the legislature to collect on official records, documents, deeds of trust, affidavits, all that sort of thing, plats, marriage licenses, things like that. So it goes into a separate fund, and it's just used for specific preservation.
Yeah, and Co-File does a fabulous job.
They do an excellent job.
Well, I make a motion to approve accounts payable.
I second that motion.
Motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. At this time, we will recess our special meeting and we will reconvene in an executive session.